What's up, everybody? Welcome to Flames Reaction Channel. Now, today's video, I'm getting ready to react Ludacris. And with that being said, make sure y'all hit that like, comment, and that subscribe button. And let's go ahead and dig into this video and check out Ludacris and some of his greatest moments.
Best known for his contributions to hip-hop and car racing cinema, Ludacris is an icon with countless accolades. He might be one of the most recognizable names in entertainment today, but there's still a lot that you probably don't know about this talented multi-hyphenate. Before he was known as Ludacris, Chris Bridges was making a name for himself as Chris Lover Lover on Atlanta radio. It all started during college when he landed an internship at Hot 97.5, now Hot 107.9, the only hip hop station in Atlanta at the time. Working at a radio station was all part of the expiring rapper's plan. In a 2020 interview with the Mogul Mixtapes, he explained that being where industry insiders were was the perfect opportunity for him to get his own foot in the door. As he put it, if I could become a permanent fixture at this radio station, you've got all these artists and all these producers that come through every single day. So it's only a matter of time before somebody latches on, or at least I can get one of them to lend an ear to this music.
I was like, what better place than to, make a job for myself where I can constantly give all these people my music every damn day and make the right connections.
Eventually, Bridges went from intern to on-air personality, making himself known as DJ Chris Lover Lover. His time on the airwaves soon paid off, as he made some life-changing connections with industry bigwigs and record companies across Atlanta, including the likes of Jermaine Dupri, Dallas Austin, and LaFace Records. If you didn't know already, it's not hard to figure out that Ludacris is from Atlanta. His music clearly gives you a sense of how proud he is of being from the Dirty South. As his iHeartRadio biography puts it, he is, quote, arguably the most commercially successful Southern rapper of the time. But what exactly made him stand out so much within the Southern hip hop scene as he went on to reach a national audience? It may just have been the fact that he actually grew up somewhere else. Ludacris's early years were actually spent in Illinois, as he didn't move to Atlanta until he was in high school. As Stereogum described him in a 2020 profile, that meant that Ludacris rapped without the gooey, marbled accent that made Southern rappers such a tough sell for so many East Coast listeners. His upbringing also influenced his writing style. While typical rap lyrics of the time referenced the darker aspects of street life, Ludacris tended to take a humorous approach towards lighter topics like money and partying. As he explained to the Mogul Mixtapes in 2020, I think I brought a certain light to hip hop that wasn't necessarily always talking about having to shoot guns. You know, the street life is great. A lot of people have gone through that. But it's also okay to smile and laugh and actually joke around. When Ludacris released his debut album in 1999, he had no major label backing. It was released independently on his own indie label, Disturbing the Peace, and sold 50,000 copies in the South through his own grassroots efforts. As Ludacris told MTV, when I put out the album, it was a real struggle. I had to save up money to do everything, sell it out the trunk, and get it in the stores. The rapper had saved up the money he earned from working at Hot 97.5 to make a down payment on a 1993 gold Acura Legend. As he recalled to A-List in 2017, people would call it the drug dealer car. I had to have one of those cars because even though I wasn't dealing drugs, I was definitely dealing music out of the trunk. Over 2 decades later, Ludacris still hasn't gotten rid of that iconic first car, even passing it down to his daughter to test drive.
How many miles does it have? Over 283,000 miles.
283,000 miles. Have you've had to replace everything?
I did have to replace everything.
During Ludacris's time as Chris Lover Lover, employees at Hot 97.5 were required to put in hours towards community service each week. As he recalled to A-List in 2017, at that age, I didn't truly understand why they were making us do it, but I really saw the impact I had on kids when I was just a local celebrity in Atlanta. Even as Ludacris started becoming a star on a national scale, giving back to the community remained at the top of his agenda. In 2001, just a year after the release of his first major label album, Back for the First Time, he founded the Ludacris Foundation with the mission of inspiring urban youth to live their dreams and envision new possibilities. The foundation organizes programs and partnerships focused on the 3 Ls: leadership and education, Luda Cares, and living healthy lifestyles. Luda Cares, in case you're wondering, refers to community service. Headed by Ludacris as the chairman and his mother Roberta Shields as the president, The Ludacris Foundation has partnered with organizations like Feeding America, the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and Boys and Girls Clubs of America to give back to communities in the rapper's hometown of Atlanta and beyond.
It's just dear to my heart. And again, during times like this, we want to make sure we help.
You're on a Carnival cruise, and for years, that sign has mocked you, but today you've stretched.
In 2002, Ludacris partnered with Pepsi for a major TV ad campaign. But soon, former Fox News host Bill O'Reilly called on his viewers to boycott Pepsi as he declared, "I'm calling for all responsible Americans to fight back and punish Pepsi for using a man who degrades women, who encourages substance abuse, and does all the things that hurt particularly the poor in our society." The outrage from O'Reilly and his base had its intended effect, as Pepsi pulled the spot from the air. But then 6 months later, the soda brand appeared somewhat hypocritical when they aired a Super Bowl commercial with Ozzy Osbourne, whose own discography doesn't exactly fit the wholesome image they seem so concerned about with Ludacris. In response, music mogul Russell Simmons and the Hip Hop Summit Action Network threatened their own boycott. They demanded that PepsiCo apologize to Ludacris, put his commercial back on the air, and donate $5 million to his foundation. Ultimately, the company agreed to work with the Hip Hop Network and Foundation by donating an annual $1 million for 3 years. But Ludacris's commercial was never aired again, and no public apology ever was issued. In 2006, Ludacris found himself at the United States District Court in New York to defend a 3-year-old song. The tune in question was his 2003 hit Stand Up, as both Ludacris and Kanye West, who produced the track, were being sued for copyright infringement. The case alleged that Stand Up ripped off the 2001 song Straight Like That by a New Jersey group named IOF, although Straight Like That never received airtime beyond a brief stint on college radio. Both songs repeated the phrase "like that" more than 80 times, but it seemed that the similarities were of no issue to the jury, as it took them less than a day to conclude that there was no infringement. For his part, Ludacris was confident in his own creative originality during the whole ordeal. He felt no sympathy for the plaintiffs, and after the verdict, he said that he noticed one of them fall asleep during the trial, and he decided that he wasn't going to let someone like that ruin his reputation. When Ludacris starred in the 2005 film Crash, he was just getting his feet wet in the acting scene. At the time, he was a novice actor in a star-studded cast. He was able to land the high-profile role thanks in part to the support of one of his co-stars, Don Cheadle. Cheadle was also one of the film's producers, and he immediately recognized Ludacris's star potential after reviewing his audition tape. As fellow producer Kathy Schulman told SF Gate in 2005, "As soon as Don saw that first raw tape, he said it doesn't matter if he's losing lines or this and that, this guy's a star. The camera loves Chris, and it was very much at Don's urging that he got cast." By the time awards season rolled around, Ludacris was celebrating several wins with his castmates, including a surprise Best Picture trophy at the Academy Awards. The role gave him some content to rap about in his song, Tell Me What They Mad For, as he made a proud declaration about being one of the few rappers to have won both a Grammy and an Oscar. However, that's not exactly true, as Eminem also holds that distinction, and Luda didn't actually receive an Oscar for Crash. Ludacris has quite a long list of gigs on his resume, including restaurateur. In 2016, he opened up the eatery Chicken and Beer, which serves up Southern classics and local craft beers. The name is a nod to his 2003 multi-platinum album Chicken and Beer. Located in Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, the restaurant was a hit, as it even became the first airport restaurant in the country to contend for the James Beard Award. But before his success with Chicken and Beer, Ludacris had some struggles in the culinary world. His previous restaurant, Straits, an Asian fusion joint also located in Atlanta, had to close down due to low turnout. But the ambitious rapper refused to see it as a failure. In a 2017 interview with A-List, he explained how closing down Straits was the right decision. As he put it, "Shutting Straits down was the best thing that could have happened to me because I got my feet wet in the restaurant business. People took me seriously. That was some of the best 4 years of my life. That's what allowed me to even consider something like Chicken and Beer." Before Ludacris was Ludacris, and even before he was Chris Lover, he was just Christopher Bridges, an undergraduate student at Georgia State University. But having a career in the music industry was always part of his plan, as he studied music management in anticipation of his big break as a hip-hop star. 2 decades later, Ludacris once again found himself on the Georgia State campus. In 2019, he joined the university's Creative Media Industries Institute as an artist in residence. He worked with professors and mentored students with a focus on entrepreneurship in music and film. He also partnered with the College of Law and stopped by to offer some insights to students in the Legal Life of Ludacris course. In a 2017 interview with Double XL, Ludacris declared, "I'm kind of an adrenaline junkie myself, which is something a lot of people don't know." The topic of adrenaline came up because he was serving as the host of the MTV revival of the stunt-riddled game show Fear Factor. He was clearly excited by the opportunity to get a front row seat to all the extreme challenges that the contestants had to undertake. He was typically too busy hosting to partake in the challenges himself, but he did reveal to TV Guide that he preferred the thrill of heights to any kind of rush that comes with eating or drinking something gross. As he put it, "Anything that has to do with taste aversion is something I really don't like. Basically, having to drink and eat nasty food is something that is going to be the most difficult if I was doing it. Just the smell alone gets me. My favorite challenge so far is probably one where these contestants are 100 feet up in the air." There was one fear that Ludacris actually managed to overcome on the show, and that was his fear of snakes. It took him some effort, but he was ultimately able to hold a boa constrictor. The experience likely helped with his own role as a motivator to the contestants.
All you gotta do is kiss the snake.
As Ludacris revealed to TV Guide, "The only thing better than doing some of these stunts myself is to watch it with a first class seat. Then there's an even greater reason that I'm able to encourage and motivate people to try to overcome their fears, especially in the moment when they're facing some of their worst fears." Based on all that he's accomplished in his career, we'd be happy to have Ludacris in our corner, giving us motivation anytime. Check out one of our newest videos right here.
All right, y'all. That's it for this video. I'm out. Peace.